John Ulzheimer is known as one of our nation's most recognized credit experts. Having worked for 28 years in the credit industry, John has become one of the most prolific speakers about credit and the go-to authority on answers to credit-related questions. Credit Countdown with John Ulzheimer.
Hello, my name is John Ulzheimer, and I am a consumer credit expert. And today's educational video, I'm going to talk about alternative credit bureaus. I think everybody is probably familiar with what's referred to as the big three: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Those are the generally recognized consumer credit reporting agencies. Whenever anybody talks about credit bureaus, those are the three company names that are commonly and liberally thrown around. They are literally the tip of the iceberg. There are dozens and dozens of companies that fall under the definition of a consumer reporting agency. And you may have noticed that I just used the word consumer reporting agency rather than credit reporting agency. Credit reporting agency is a type of consumer reporting agency. In the Fair Credit Reporting Act, there are pages and pages of protections, and those protections give you certain rights, but those rights pertain to consumer reports and consumer reporting agencies. Credit reporting agencies, you won't find that term anywhere in the Fair Credit Reporting Act, which is a little bit counterintuitive. And the reason is because a consumer reporting agency includes a credit reporting agency, but also many other companies. So I would say the non-alternative credit reporting companies, the big three, everyone knows what they collect: banking information, collection information, some public record information, and personal information. There are a variety of other companies that are very, very large, almost as large as the big three, but not quite, that also collect certain types of information about you that is not typically or historically resident with the big three that you should be aware of. I'm going to go through a couple of them today, and then I'm going to point you to a larger, more comprehensive list that the CFPB publishes every single year so that you can go and exercise your rights under the Fair Credit Reporting Act and get copies of them, because you have the same rights for these alternative consumer reporting agencies as you do with the big three. So the first one I'm going to point out is a company that I'm quite certain that none of you have ever heard of, is a company called NCTUE. NCTUE. NCTUE is an acronym for the National Consumer Telecom and Utilities Exchange. NCTUE is essentially the fourth largest credit reporting company in the United States, and very few people have ever heard of them. This company is essentially a group of telecommunication, pay TV, and utility companies, and they exchange information with each other into a large database, which makes up the NCTUE database exchange. So if you have, say for example, an account with a water company or a power company or a gas company, then those services are going to report your information to NCTUEs, much like a bank, for example, would report your information to, say, Experian and TransUnion and Equifax. And so if you want a copy of your NCTUE report, then you would go to nctue.com and then you would ask for it. And you can freeze your report with NCTUE. You get the same free reports every 12 months under the FCRA, just like you would get your reports from the big three. Another one that is that flies under the radar but does pop up from time to time is a company called SageStream. And SageStream, this is a little complicated. The ownership is a little bit complicated. They're actually a subsidiary of a company called ID Analytics. And as of the recording of this video, ID Analytics is being acquired by LexisNexis. And so SageStream, the name may not be around much longer unless LexisNexis, after the acquisition, also acquires SageStream and doesn't spin it off, and then maintains the same name. So SageStream, as they exist today, it may not be the same way that they exist some date in the future. But they're a credit reporting agency. They're a much smaller credit reporting agency, but they do collect information from auto lenders, credit card issuers, and retailers. And generally, if you are denied credit from a bank or some sort of creditor or service provider, they have to provide you with a notice of adverse action, which most people refer to as a denial letter. And if you have been denied because of information on one of these alternative credit reports, either NCTUE or SageStream or any of the other ones that I'm going to go over, then they have to make that known and disclose that to you. If you want to see a copy of your SageStream credit report, then obviously you would go to the SageStream website, which is SageStreamLLC.com. The next one is a company that you probably have heard of, but you probably were not aware that they are also a consumer reporting agency, and that's LexisNexis. LexisNexis does a lot of things, but as it pertains to credit reports and consumer reports, LexisNexis maintains what's referred to as the C.L.U.E, C.L.U.E, Comprehensive Loss Underwriting Exchange. They maintain the C.L.U.E database. The C.L.U.E database used to be owned by a company called ChoicePoint. ChoicePoint used to be Equifax's insurance services division. And I'm talking about way in the past now. Equifax spun off ChoicePoint. ChoicePoint became their own publicly traded company, and then LexisNexis acquired ChoicePoint. And so now ChoicePoint doesn't exist, but LexisNexis owns the data in the C.L.U.E database. If you have filed an auto or a homeowner's insurance claim in the past 7 years, then that information is very likely going to be in the LexisNexis database and part of your C.L.U.E report. You obviously have a right to see that, and you would see it. You would ask for a copy of it at the LexisNexis database. The next company that I'm going to go talk about is kind of commonly and informally referred to as the Fourth Credit Bureau, and it's a company called Innovis Data Solutions. That's INNOVIS, and their website is just add a .com to the end of that. The data in the Innovis database, while it is not used by lenders for risk assessment and underwriting, there is no FICO score or Vantage score on the Innovis in the Innovis database system, meaning that you can't get a FICO score or a Vantage score from Innovis. However, if you were to look at your Innovis credit report, you would be very surprised about how redundant the data in their database is with the databases of the big three. If you'd like to pull your credit reports from time to time, then my suggestion would be to go ahead and add Innovis Data Solutions to the list, and you're going to be very surprised to see just how much information they have about you. There are a variety of other companies that are also referred to as consumer reporting agencies. One that I hope none of you have any experience with, but that company is called ChexSystems, and ChexSystems is CHEX, so checks like the cereal, CHEX, systems.com if you want to ask for a copy of it. Basically, if you have ever written a bad check, or you've had a checking account or a deposit account closed for some adverse reason, then that information is going to be in the ChexSystems database. And so when you go to open a new checking account or savings account with a bank or financial services company, it's not uncommon that they will pull a copy of your ChexSystems report just to make sure that you have not written bad checks to other financial service companies. There is a very long list of companies that sell your information to employment or to employers as part of the employment screening process. Those are all considered consumer reporting agencies. There are a variety of companies that will verify your income. Those are also considered to be consumer reporting agencies. Tenant screening, again, consumer reporting agencies. So the point is that there are tons and tons of companies that do this and that fall under the very broad category of consumer reporting agencies. So now let me go ahead and tell you where you can get copies or a more comprehensive list. It's very simple. Go to the CFPB website. The CFPB maintains a master list of consumer reporting agencies. It's in a PDF that you can download from their website. I would suggest highly that you do it, if for no other reason but to just become more knowledgeable about the companies that maintain your data. And again, you have the right under the Fair Credit Reporting Act to access a copy of these reports once every 12 months, just like you do your normal credit reports. So I hope you learned something today. I hope I introduced some companies to you that perhaps you've never heard of, and that you learned to look up the company and claim copies of those reports from time to time and ensure that the information is accurate. Thank you very much for watching, and have a fantastic rest of your day.
For more videos and credit tips from John Ulzheimer, go to www.TradelineSupply.com.